Hello everyone and welcome back to Dicebreaker, where we have a very special episode as we've been sponsored by Roll20 to show you just what it's like to play an RPG here in Roll20 itself. So we're going to be playing with almost the entire Dicebreaker team. Unfortunately, Loli's can join us for this one. But we're going to be playing the Curse of Strahd, the new remastered module all about spooky vampires.
High definition vampires.
High definition
with
vampires.
ray tracing.
One the ray traced. So we've got all the campaigns set up. You can see our characters laid out on the map here. And I, in red, am going to be playing Palladius Diem, a noble paladin. Matt?
I'm going to be playing Abby Van Helsang. I get it a lot. There's no relation.
And I will be playing Professor Carnage, PhD, a barbarian. I look exactly like the man from the box for Hero Quest, and I am in my mid-70s.
I'm picturing when Mr. Burns comes out in the golden god suit.
yeah, pretty much that. But who's this joining us?
It's me, Alex Meehan, staff writer for Dicebreaker.
Go on.
I'll be playing all the other characters because I am the games master or the dungeon master, more appropriately, for this game. Yes, we'll be playing the Curse of Strahd adventure. Which has been recently remastered, as Will said. But we'll...
version, right?
Yeah.
A very abridged version, yeah.
So the Curse of Strahd is a pretty significant book that covers a large area of I imagine Eastern European inspired land of Barovia. Yes. But we'll be focusing specifically on Castle Ravenloft, wherein resides the Count Strahd von Zaverick, who has kindly invited all of you to his, humble's not the right word, absolutely ginormous abode. That looms over the village of Barovia. So there is a village called Barovia, but also the general land is also called Barovia. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't get the sort of hints, this is a very sort of vampiric inspired.
No.
Yeah. What
have we got ourselves into?
Story. Yeah. It's spooks, you know. So our three adventurers find themselves as if they've seemingly just woken up from a dream.
I'm 70 odd. This just happens for me.
This just happens on the reg, really, for the professor. You find yourselves sat in a moving carriage, trundling down the road.
You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right?
Yeah, it's like imagine like a old-timey, quite plush carriage, but it's seen a better day as well. This carriage has been brought for you specifically by the Count himself. To take you to Castle Ravenloft, where you plan to meet the Count, who is graciously asked you for dinner after hearing of your exploits.
Oh, we have many exploits
in the land of Barovia.
Most of mine are in academic journals.
All of which you remember very fondly.
Oh, yes.
Have good laughs about.
In fact, I'm remembering them fondly now and just chuckling to myself.
Oh, yeah.
You are my research fellows.
What incredible exploitations we've made. I mean, exploits we've had.
Oh my. Outside the windows of the carriage, from what little you can see, because you can't see much because of the extremely heavy amounts of fog seeming covering the barren lands of Barovia. Each to their own, but it's not exactly a holiday destination unless you're really into just moistness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a baker as a hobby, so
It's
yes.
admirable in a cake.
Yeah.
Admirable in the cake.
Indeed. So you find yourself in the carriage. Every so often you can hear sort of a whistling. I can't whistle, so I'm not going to try and do it. There you go. From your driver, who seems to be a sort of brusque older man, wearing a big thick jacket and one of those hats, the caps that you put on.
Mm.
My dad had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, don't wear that. It makes you look older than you are, Dad.
It makes you look like you should be transporting people to the castle of Barovia.
I would like to swing open the carriage door and sort of hang out the side very heroically with my golden locks flowing in the wind and say, "What ho, dear coachman, how long is our journey?"
As you open your mouth to speak, you just get like huge froths of fog. So your hair is also now almost completely soaked. It's like you're driving through a cloud.
Oh God. It's like mist rain, like sheet rain.
Oh, my dear fellow, consider shutting the door. You're letting the fog in.
When you say that, Professor, you also hear, "What? What are you saying down there? I can't hear you, I'm afraid."
Well, he
that
asked you
was
a question. Don't be rude.
I said I can't hear you.
Right. I suppose I'll lean out. But my friend here was asking, how long is our journey?
Oh, how long the journey is that? All right, okay. Well,
Yeah.
should be another half an hour or so. I reckon. I can't really see where I'm going that much, but it's only one road. It don't really deviate anywhere, so it should be there all far. All right.
Yes, all right. Well, we shan't distract you any further. Thank you.
Yeah, I swing the door back shut and produce a towel from my backpack and start drying my lovely hair.
Abby, I think, is
distantly from outside.
Abby is running a dagger through the cushions of the carriage and kind of sticking her hand in to check for any kind of like ill omens or magical, essentially looking for bugs, because she doesn't trust Strahd at all.
Oh, I see. You're like bugs as in like listening devices.
Yeah, I mean maybe literal bugs as well.
Okay.
Just wait for the day one patch, Abby. Everything will be right as rain.
Roll an investigation check.
Ooh.
I would do
Have a look
that.
in those cushions.
Investigation.
Oh,
Wow, what a way to kick this off.
Oh wow! Is that
Yeah, so it's not a nat, right?
It's a dirty 20.
This is plus 5
15,
to investigation.
Okay. So the first
Let's
cushion.
investigate it.
Yes. The first cushion you reach your hand inside of, you feel something decidedly quite slimy and wriggly,
Ugh.
and it's squirming around in there.
Could I grab it?
Do you want to
pull
pull it out? Or you want to leave
Yeah,
it in
of
there?
course. I'm not going to leave it in there. That seems
Yeah,
worse
sure,
in
okay,
some
yeah.
ways. Okay.
Yeah, you pull
I'll
it out, and you pull it out, and it's a centipede. It's just wriggling around. You were looking for bugs, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Oh. Well, that seems horrible. Put it back. Or kill it.
How barbaric.
You do.
Abby's going to gently let the centipede out of the open door that Palladius DM is hanging out of,
and come back in now,
to get outside of the wheels. I'll just chuck it into the bush as we go.
Yeah. You're gonna try and chuck it into the bushes.
Yeah, just to get it out of the way of either being sat on, crushed by wheels, or apparently killed by this professor.
I said, put it back. Throwing it out seems far more barbaric.
Okay.
But it might drown in this pea soup.
No, dear friends, let us not argue before we have even reached Castle Strahd.
That's not what it's called.
Castle of Strahd.
Okay. Roll either a strength or dexterity check, please.
Strength, really give that centipede a lot for.
Do you want to hoof it? Do you want to?
That will teach you for being in the same carriage as me.
Dexterity it is. Oh, wow.
That's a save, Matt.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I've clicked.
So you haven't dropped it.
Straight.
You want to see how far you can fling or where you
There
can
we
fling.
go.
Oh, that is a crit.
Wow, this is the best I've ever rolled. Thank you, Roll20. Didn't realise it was a literal name.
Wow. That is some impressive centipede throwing, I must admit. You fling it out the window, and it does that really satisfying, like, twists in the air. It's almost kind of mesmerizing in a way.
But like a throwing
His legs sort of flinging out. And you almost see it as if it's like floating in the fog because it's so thick. And then your carriage just passes. So who knows what might happen to the centipede?
Wow.
It's just another, part of the saga, I guess.
Yeah.
Tune in next time.
Yeah. Legends will be told of the floating centipede of Barovia, I'm sure. During your centipede throwing exploits, you suddenly feel the carriage is slowing and going upwards. And if you look out the window, you can see the looming structure of the Castle Ravenloft coming towards you. It is enormous and very imposing. It seems like it's been here for nigh on centuries. And you are slowing down your carriage, and eventually you come to a stop in the courtyard, just outside the front door, and you just hear from above the carriage, "Right now, get yourself out there. You come here now."
So Professor Carnage produces a tome, which is like clearly bound in skin of some kind, and kind of like the it's like studded with teeth, and there are like vertebrae on the literal spine of the book. And he pulls out and goes, "Well, this is fascinating. My background is in anthropology, and I particularly enjoy studying architecture and how it relates to social structures. And it seems this castle, well, I mean, what a statement." And I've just start wittering and writing in a book now.
Yeah. The driver gets down and opens the door for you and takes off his cap, sort of bows his head, inviting you out the door. "Come on now, the Count's waiting for you. You don't want to keep him waiting now."
I heroically open the door again. But this time I've dried my hair off just enough that it's not soaked, but it's got a bit of damp. Like a wrestler comes out, and just looking very, very ready for an athletic competition. And then just
kind of picturing Aragorn pushing open the doors to the hall, but it's a carriage.
Yeah, a bit less impressive, but...
How dare you? Do you want me to roll performance?
I would like to, if the coachman still has his hat off, I'll drop in a silver piece and an individually wrapped toffee.
Oh, Oh, thank you, sir. I can try and eat that later and make sure my teeth don't fall out. Oh, great. And he puts his hat back on his head with the stuff in it.
Ingenious. I note that down.
My word, it's like a third pocket.
Storage.
Abby was going to also
No,
point
you...
the hat, but puts it on top after the hat's been replaced on the man's head. It's like, well, that'll do.
Just balancing.
Yeah.
Okay, he just looks a bit nonplussed by that. Like, all strange folks from other lands, I guess. And he ushers you out of the carriage.
Yeah, well, I'm already heading up towards the door. In fact, I would like to find the biggest knocker there is, if you know what I mean, and start slamming on that door. Announce our arrival.
Slamming on that building.
Yeah, before you sort of walk off, the coachman calls out to you and goes, "Oh, my good friend here, there you are. I just wanted to say something before you go in. And,
Of course!
meet
I
his
always have
lord.
time for the locals.
Yeah, I just wanted to warn you. I don't know if you've heard much about the Count and the castle and the history of these lands. I'm sure," he looks at the professor and goes, "I'm sure you're very knowledgeable folk. Yeah. But I just wanted to say, just keep your eye out. There's strange things living there, and the Count, well, been around for quite a long time, ever since his dear beloved mother died, and his brother, well, that whole tragedy. We don't say anything about it too much, but beware of the Count." And then he sort of that's
Is he like talking like this and moving backwards?
Yeah. He's moving back while he's doing that.
What an odd fellow.
And he's still moving back as he's trying to climb on top of the carriage. He's trying to climb backwards.
He's like fumbling.
Yeah. The whole time he's just staring at you, just being like, beware.
Your advice is noted, noble coachman, but not necessarily heeded. Now, to the door!
Oh, wow. Sorry,
Sound
coachman.
slamming.
To the door. Okay. You walk up to the door, and you see the ornate outer doors of the castle are hanging open. They are flanked by fluttering torches in iron sconces. So the door is already open.
It's already open?
Yeah.
Well, I strut right in then.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just
In we go. Yes, you first. After you, dear fellow.
Yeah. Get yourself in there.
Ooh, it's a bit cramped in here, actually.
Shoulder to shoulder with
Sorry,
Phil.
ladies.
Sorry.
I squished myself right into the corner thus.
Okay.
Are said doors ahead of us also open? I'm assuming this is like a little lobby area.
These doors are seemingly closed.
Okay, so this is kind of like a porch, I guess.
Yes, this is like an entryway. Yes.
Okay, now I would like to knock on the door with the biggest brass knocker I can find.
Okay, you knock on the door, and you hear some moments of silence. And then the doors mysteriously seem to swing open in front of you.
My goodness.
However, there is no one behind the doors.
What foul magic is this?
It's fascinating, I say, writing some more things.
When the doors swing open, you listen and you can seemingly hear the faint sound of organ music playing.
Oh, love an organ, me.
Kidneys.
Mm.
Is that your favourite organ?
Yeah.
It's a good pick. It's a good
They do a lot of work.
Thank you.
Yeah, they do a lot of work. Okay. Do we want to See what your characters do?
Yeah, I'm going to step right in. Oh, look at this.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
okay.
going to go through.
Following, yeah.
Oh, blimey.
Ooh.
Yeah, in fact, I'm just going to stroll right into the centre.
Yeah.
Nice
You
look
seem
and
to have
everything.
found yourself in an enormous entryway. Cobwebs are stretched between the columns that support the vaulted ceiling of a dusty hall, lit by yet more torches. These torches cast odd shadows along the 8 stone gargoyles that are squatting in the rims of the domed ceiling.
Not the rims.
Typical.
Yeah, the rims.
Should be paying rent.
I know, Squat's right, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
As you enter, it seems like you're being watched.
I start clutching my holy amulet, and I would like to cast Divine Sense. So, as an action, I can detect good and evil. Until the end of the next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or the known location of any celestial, fiend, undead, or anything underneath those within 60 foot. That's not behind total cover, and I can use this 4 times per long rest.
Okay. Do you need to roll for that?
That's just an action. So it's basically I cast Detect Good and Evil.
Okay.
So I can detect celestials, fiends, and undead within 60 foot.
Celestials, fiends, and undeads.
See if there's anything hiding in these halls.
60 foot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Are we all human, by the way?
I am
Yes.
human, yeah.
Weird. Me too.
Yeah, that's a change. God.
Yeah.
What kind of D&D party is this?
I'm a sentient pile of the shells you get when you eat crayfish.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say...
Would it help if I did an aura for you?
If you wanted, yeah.
I can do this. This is my Detect Good and Evil aura.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to say you definitely sense undead. Not so much the celestials and the demonics kind.
Okay.
So there are definitely some there are skeletons scuttling around the place.
I must warn you, my dear friends, it appears there is the work of a necromancer in these halls.
How chilling, especially given the way you said that.
Yes, I did it for dramatic effect.
Interesting. I wonder what purpose they serve in this dusty place. Certainly not cleaning. Well, I'm sure they can be reasoned with, and if not, I shall smash them.
When you say that, you suddenly hear a voice from seemingly the corners of the room going, "Well, what do you expect in an old castle?"
I immediately am like sweeping around, trying to perceive
Looking
where
around.
this voice is coming from. My hand just sort of
Roll a
hovering over my
perception
hilt
check,
of my
please.
warhammer. A perception check. Okay. The first roll of the day. Here we go. Oh, I've got a +1. That's not great. It's a 7.
No, okay.
As I'm doing it, my hair is like getting in my eyes because I'm spinning my head so fast.
Yeah. You definitely sense that they came from above you, but you don't know where.
Who is there? I say.
You hear another one from seemingly the opposite side of the room. Say, "Well, I would thought this lot would be a bit smart, wouldn't you?" And then you just hear a group of cackles. Oh, it's a good one for us here.
That's very insensitive. I have a -1 intelligence modifier.
Oh, he's got a -1 intelligence modifier.
But look, don't pay any attention to him. He grew up in a very drafty house. Because they broke the 4th wall. But show yourselves. We wish to meet with you and have a chat.
Yes, we were invited, I'll have you know.
Oh, you were invited. And suddenly you see leaning down from the little alcoves up the top of the ceiling, one of the gargoyles is leering at you.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's you. Hello.
Hi.
Aren't you a charming fellow? Are you traditional in these parts of the region? Does every house have talking gargoyles such as yourselves?
Well, not every house does, but this one certainly does. And more besides.
Right. Well, we've, as my companion here, Palladius DM, my research fellow, has said, we were invited here by the Count himself, and we should like very much to meet him. And perhaps, if I may be so bold, find somewhere to rest our weary feet, and perhaps have a cup of hot milk.
Yes, in truth, it is my buttock that is more weary from the long carriage ride.
Well, old Scabby Bone there wants a cup of milk.
Scabby Bones?
And Blondie down there, well, could do with a bit more of a plus in that intelligence, if you know what I mean.
Well, this is
Now,
very rude.
come on, Gerald, none of that. Let's help it. They've been invited by his lordship.
Yes, thank you.
You see the other one leaning down from the other side of the room, seemingly from Gerald. Who said, yes, you've been invited indeed. His lordship awaits you in the dining hall. Can you hear the music? Such sweet music he makes. Oh, yes.
Oh, it is beautiful. But
He's the one playing the kidneys.
Yes.
The gargoyle looks very confused.
The spoons just flapping two kidneys about. Well,
yes. Where exactly is this dining hall?
Oh, you keep going. So, not the steps that you can see up there. If you keep walking forward,
Yes.
and then if you go left.
is it this way? Am I walking the right way?
How do I ping? Can I ping?
Do we walk through this door?
I just find a long click sort of pings. Don't know if other people are seeing that.
There we go.
This way? Oh,
Yes.
I'm going. Oh, this way. Now I'm going the right way.
That way.
Oh,
yes,
I apologize.
I'm going to go.
directly.
Charming! Come, fellows, come through here. What a delightful dining room with chairs for 10.
Oh my! Yes. And look at
Ah.
that delightful organ as well.
I shall warm myself by this organ, which I mistook for a fireplace.
It's a very, modern
Yeah,
design.
you hope the organ's on.
I might zoom in a bit.
It's got a lot of chimneys, I'll tell you that.
This baby can let out so many fumes.
Yeah. Everything else might be old in this castle, but this baby has a range.
Yes, I'm warming myself by the organ now.
Okay.
Well, I imagine there is a warm aura from the fire beats that are being played by our host.
Well,
Hmm.
as you walk into the dining hall, you see 3 enormous crystal chandeliers brilliantly illuminate this magnificent chamber. In the center of the room, a long, heavy table is covered by a fine white satin cloth. The table is laden with many delectable foods. Roast meats in savory sauces, and roots, and herbs, and sweet fruits, and vegetables. Places are made for you with delicate china and silver. At the center of the far west hall, between the floor-to-ceiling mirrors, stands a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a thunderous melody that speaks in tones of greatness and despair. Seated at the organ, faced away from you, a single caped figure pounds the keys with raptured ecstasy. The figure suddenly stops, and as a deep silence falls over the dining hall, slowly turns towards you. Hello, my honored guests.
Ah, 'tis great to see you. Thank you once again for your most illustrious invitation.
You are the Count, I assume? Good.
Yes, I am. I am Count Savrik, but you can call me Strahd.
Very well.
The trip was quite the door gargoyles. I don't know if they were meant to be the meet and greet, but they were less than forthcoming. Anyway, I'm quite hungry because we haven't eaten since we began the trip. There was a centipede, but it wasn't. It's very kind of you and all, but is some of this for us? Abby's just scanning the table for like a name tag.
Not looked Strahd in the face at any point.
No, she's just like walking around talking to him to the side.
Yeah. Oh, that looks quite good. Yeah.
Licking a finger and dipping it in her.
Yeah, I'm wet. Yeah. If you've ever seen that scene in the Muppets Christmas Carol right at the end, where they're all sat around the table with all the turkeys and the fruits and it's like that. Imagine that, but even more impressive.
Even more impressive?
Yeah, even more. Yeah, Strahd starts singing that on the organ.
So, are we able to sit and start eating?
So you go to sit down, and Strahd says, oh, yes, the gargoyles. I used to have a manservant to invite people in, but then I don't know really what happened to him. He sort of left for one of the rooms and never came back.
Oh, how unfortunate.
Great story.
So the gargoyles, they were already there, so I sort of said, if anyone walks in, just direct them here. I'll do the whole organ act,
It's a good act, and it is difficult to find good help these days. So I thank you, Count, for your hospitality and your warm welcome, and I cannot wait to hear why it is you've summoned us.
Yeah, well, yes. You sit down at the table. Yes. And you go to reach for, maybe a nice haunch of something or a bread roll or something like that.
Palladius, can you pass the salt? It's just there.
I'm being very polite and sitting and waiting for the signal to eat.
And suddenly your hand seems to just pass through all this lovely food and drink. And from the organ, you just say, oh, yes, I do like to play that one. And then suddenly Strahd just disappears.
No!
I'm still bullishly trying to scoop kedgeree out of a dish.
And the doors, the doors behind you, the ones you came through, suddenly just burst open. And standing there is the Count.
What?
What?
What terrible magic is this?
What is the meaning of this? You were there and now you're here. And I don't know if it's the spoon or what, but I cannot for the life of me get any kedgeree out of this dish.
The Count chuckles. And you can tell now that it is, it's the Count in all his physical glory. He is...
He's gloriously physical.
Oh, well. He's quite a tall man in a long, luxurious satin coat, and he is what I would describe as tall, dark, and handsome.
More like Count Strahd.
He smiles at all of you in a very winning way.
Yeah.
Count what?
Count Strahd.
My goodness.
Count Strong.
Yeah. As you look back at the table, all the food is gone. Like all the illusionary food is gone. And the Count spreads his arms open, says, welcome, my friend. It's just a little joke I like playing with some people. It gets kind of lonely here sometimes. So I just like to entertain my guests. But I promise you the real refreshments are on their way. And he walks to the head of the table and sits down. And yeah.
I'd hope so too. I mean,
What was that?
It didn't entertain me very much. I mean, I'm starving. I mean, I don't know if you heard from your ghost self or whatever it was. I mean, all there was on the carriage was a centipede. And it, I didn't really feel like it at the time, but I'm starving. And now I find out that not even the herbs.
You must excuse my impertinent friend here, Abby. We are, as she says, very, very hungry, and to play such a cruel joke on such men of good repute seems almost immoral.
And women, thank you.
Well, I would never.
It's a turn of phrase. I apologize.
I would never describe myself as immoral. Well,
immortal?
Or possibly. He as he snaps his fingers, the doors open behind you, the main doors again, and in marches. March isn't the right word. Flaps in a line of bat servants, and they're carrying little trays in their claws.
How fascinating! Batman.
Yeah, there are big ones and small ones.
Some as big
as your head.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see a really small one just carrying a little jug of what looks like cream. Like,
what looks like cream.
Yeah. And there's quite a really big one that's like carrying a platter of like meats, and another one that's got a big vat of roast potatoes. And it smelled amazing.
I'd start tucking in with gusto.
Oh yeah, the bats land a little bit, uncoordinated, and you see the Count just go, "Gah! I've taught you all better than this."
Oh, come, Count. They are just doing their best, and I believe they're doing a very good job. Thank you, Bats. Now, please do join us for a meal and tell us what it is that has brought us here in your company.
He sits down at the head of the table, and there's one bat that flies over with.
One bat.
Yeah, just one bat. Yeah. Yeah, spooky wombat, yeah. Mm-hmm. Who like pours into his goblet from a very specific jug. And the bat sort of flaps off into the corner, and the Count takes a sip of whatever's in the goblet and says, "Oh no, I ate later. I will, however, enjoy your company. I don't get many visitors here in the castle. The locals keep to themselves, of course, except when I'm flying into their rooms at night. But
sorry, what was that
worry
last
about
bit?
all that.
What?
I am honored to be within your presence. I hope you enjoy all the delicious foods that are here."
Sure. I've completely, the academic veil has completely dropped from Professor Carnage, PhD, who is like monstering like an entire leg of lamb and has like a string of sausages and just like blah 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 blah. But even he has paused. It's like, sure, no, thank you again for the hospitality. Can we just wind back a little bit to the part where you said you would fly into people's houses at night?
I don't ever remember saying that. I don't know what you are hearing. Sometimes there are strange noises in the castle. Also, I've heard the bats sometimes talk.
Interesting.
hits out at one of the bats.
Now, if you could tell me about these chandeliers, are they lit by candles or gaslight?
The chandeliers.
Yes,
Oh, well.
they are exquisite.
He said, this castle has been in my family for many generations. Well, it's been in my hands for a very long generation indeed. I have been watching over its walls for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to bring people here to see whether you would be worthy of taking over my lineage. I have heard many great things about all your adventures, and well, I've been in this castle for so long, and my dear mother, it's named after her, and I couldn't just leave it to ruin, but also I wish to explore the world beyond its walls.
So you're looking for stewards in a sense.
Yeah, something like that. People who would stay here and never leave, and would also make sure that everything is running as it should. So if I ever should want to come back, it should all be good.
Right.
From seemingly outside the door and down the corridor, you just hear like an almighty crash. He goes, I swear if they have dropped the gravy, I am going to flip. You will have to excuse me, I'm afraid, my guest.
Of course.
I'll have to investigate what that
was.
Of course. The younger bats, they are not as well trained.
Yes, don't let us keep you, please. You have
Deal, pass the kedgeree. It's just there.
Yeah, the Count storms out of the room, and you can hear him off in the distance swearing in what seems to be a Germanic language of some kind.
Well,
is it Gnomish? I can speak Gnomish.
No, it's not.
Oh,
dang.
Very well.
This strikes me as quite odd, fellows. I didn't realize this was to be a job interview, and if he's looking to hire people, wouldn't it have been better if he made those inquiries before we departed?
Yes, it is quite strange, Professor, and I must confess it is not something that I am looking for on my curriculum vitae, as it were.
Me neither. I mean, I have tenure, for goodness sake, and I have research projects underway. Also, here, peel this egg, I'm old.
Very well.
Thank you. I hook an egg into my mouth.
I didn't come here to take over his legacy. I came here to end it.
What?
His lineage. Well, having the name Van Helsing, it just causes all kinds of problems. People think, you're this vampire hunter. You're expected to go and do these things. So I figured, I'd just sort it out, get rid of all of that. He seems a bit like suspect. Like you caught the bat thing, right? And all the bats.
I'm sorry, Abby. Can we rewind slightly? Are you implying that our noble host is a vampire?
If he's not himself, I mean, who's this into bats? Honestly.
But if we could just rewind to that same bit again? Are you also saying you're going to kill him because of societal peer pressure?
Well, it's more to just, I want to live a quiet life. Everyone comes after you for the name.
Well, have you thought about changing the name?
That never actually occurred to me before.
Well, we're here now.
We're here now, yeah.
Well, yeah. Too late now, isn't it?
Carry on, Abby.
Yeah. From outside the door, you hear more swearing.
Dramatic swearing or common swearing?
Yeah. No, Germanic swearing, and it sounds like something's being, something metal is being flung against the wall. And you hear a lot of squeaking as well.
Oh, goodness.
Did anyone else notice the bread tastes a little bit like guano?
Oh, I thought those were sesame seeds, not sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah, Abby keeps eating the bread though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Professor Carnage isn't going to let a little guano put him off a good meal.
Seemingly several minutes pass, and you can't hear anything. It seems like it's just silent. An eerie kind of silence. And despite the peace, you feel like something is watching you.
I would like to drop my fork.
Mm.
And then I'm going to say, oh goodness, heavens, how clumsy. I can't continue my meal without a clean fork. Perhaps I shall go and fetch one from the kitchen.
Yes.
I'd like to pick up the fork and stick my head through the doors just to sort of see what's going on.
I thought you said you were going to stick your fork in your head for a second there.
I mean, it would be the barbaric thing to do. I'm just going to crash my skull through. Yeah, so can I go out into the hallway again?
Yeah.
I'm in the hallway.
Okay, you look back into the great entryway that you were in earlier where the gargoyles are.
Yes.
And you can see like pans and like the gravy boat you presume that the Count was talking about on the floor, and there are like stains everywhere. But there seems to be absolutely no one there.
Hello? Hello?
Is everything all right out there, Professor?
I'm going to sort of head up a bit.
Okay.
There's no one here except, well, it's just a lot of pots and pans, and I regret to inform you, I think that was giblet gravy, and if that's spilt, there probably aren't any more to make a fresh batch.
Oh, my.
So,
well, it sounds like the Countess is some dire trouble. Perhaps we should go and help.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Sure, yes.
Yes. We'll come join you.
Okay,
so that we can stop pretending to shout.
Yeah, Abby loads up on like 4 bread rolls before leaving, just kind of bundled in her arms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's important
out into the hall.
It's important when leaving a meal to take the one item you know definitely has bat droppings in it.
You gotta make sure you take that complimentary bread roll.
Oh yeah.
Treat it as a vaccine for whatever those bats might have.
Are the gargoyles still up in the thing?
The rafters.
Yes, they are.
I say, somewhat rude gargoyles.
Yep, that's us.
We were wondering where the Count has gone. Is he in trouble?
And they all just start laughing.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of comedy club we're supposed to be looking for?
Something I said?
Oh, you're doomed, all of you. You're all doomed.
Really? I mean, the front door is just there. Why are we doomed?
They just keep laughing.
Look, this is... Oof.
You know, Professor, this has been quite strange. Perhaps we should leave while we're not being watched, as it were.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, but then Abby makes a good point. We are here now, so, you know...
Yes, well, I suppose the church did always say that vampires were evil. So if they are a line of vampires, perhaps we should put an end to it. Although we'll have to be sure.
As you're talking, suddenly the gargoyles launch themselves from their posts and start flying down towards you in a pretty aggressive manner.
Oh my god.
Hello, can we help?
I dive in front of the professor in a protective way.
Okay.
The professor is the most jacked person there.
I'll protect you, Professor.
Okay. This gargoyle is gonna attempt to attack you.
Goodness.
With its claws.
Is it?
Well, that's a fine welcome.
What's your armor class? Wheels?
16.
16.
Ooh, you're rolling on the table for maximum effect.
Yeah, rolling on the table.
He's scary.
Oof. Okay, that's a nat 20.
Oh, God. Good thing I protected you, Professor.
Shortest dinner party ever.
Weapon attack. Okay. 1d6. So, because I rolled a critical hit, I double the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to roll this. Okay. 2. That is 8 damage. So this gargoyle is going to fly down to you, and he sinks his stone teeth into your arm. Just go like that.
Goodness,
Christ.
not 8 damage.
That looked like it hurt a bit.
And then he's going to launch off, and it feels like all these gargoyles are kind of swarming around you, particularly around the front door. And it feels like the only possible way you could go to escape would be to be the door that seems to be to your right here.
Okay.
They're all yelling at you and screaming and saying some pretty naughty words, frankly.
That's very rude.
Very rude.
Come on, fellows. Let's go through this doorway.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Right.
get out. Let's get out of Dodge. They did a whopping 8 damage there, so I'm terrified.
I know. Scary stuff.
It is.
Okay, you walk into a grand hall that is choked with dust and stretches into the darkness ahead. Ahead.
Foreshadowing.
Ooh, subtle wordplay. Webs hang from the arched ceilings like drapes, and life-size statues of knights line the hallways on both sides, their eyes seemingly watching you.
I unhook my warhammer and cleave into one of them. I know this trick! Bah!
Okay, roll to hit.
Okay. Oh,
Whoa.
that is a
Yeah.
dirty 26.
Was it a warhammer?
It was a warhammer.
Yeah, it smashes into the side of one of the statues, and the statue just seems to explode in terms of all its bits just flying in all directions. The noise is just catatonic in terms of bong, 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 like bits flying against the ceiling, against the walls, against other statues, which then proceed to fall over and also smash.
I turn around to the other two and I'm like breathing heavily, like.
Well done. They won't do that again.
Yes.
Abby pulls 2 bits of bread.
Yeah,
and
seemingly. Seemingly, the eyes were just an illusion.
Seems there's a fair bit of trickery going on in this cursed castle.
Sure. Yes.
One way to solve that mystery, I suppose.
Ahead of you, there are.
Sorry.
Ahead of you, there are some double doors. Above them hangs a symbol of beaten bronze that looks like a rising or setting sun.
I kick down the doors.
Oh, wow.
He gets one little scratch from a gargoyle and he's off.
Yeah, he's off. Yeah.
Where are you, vampire?
It's like a blood rumba. Just.
Okay, so you kick down the door.
Yes.
What seemed to have previously been quite a quiet and contemplative space has the silence has been broken by you banging the door down. Inside, dim coloured light filters through tall, broken-up boarded windows of stained glass, illuminating an ancient chapel. A few bats flutter about in the top of a 90-foot-high domed ceiling.
You there, bats! Where is your master?
Yeah, they're just squeaking. They're just doing their bat thing, just squeaking.
Sort of lean over to the other two, like, does anyone speak bat?
No, and more to the point, I think they've clocked off.
Ah, very well. It's
no.
mightily unfair of us to ask them to give us directions after their proper working hours have finished.
Yes.
I've got a plan. Abby just kind of shakes the remainder of the bread roll. It's like, I'm almost out. Could you help?
No,
Just
Abby.
gives a kind of knowing nod to the other two. Like,
They're at the very least on a smoke break. Do not disturb them.
Sorry, what are you doing with the bread roll?
Waving it at the bats to try and get them to come down.
You're waving it at the bat.
Yes.
We're all
Okay.
gonna die.
Make a persuasion check with the bread roll. I'll give you an advantage because you've got a bread roll. Mate, if I was a bat and I saw a bread roll,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
going.
Persuasion.
even if you weren't a bat, right?
19. Thank you for that advantage.
Oh wow, nice, yeah.
Very good.
You see one. It's got like a little squished face, but quite big ears, and it just squeaks at you, and flies down, and goes to get the bread roll.
No, that's not what I meant. I want more bread roll, not less. Come on, even with. Goodness, this is why you don't want
mate.
bats.
You wanted it to come down.
Okay, while it's
The
flying...
bat is now just eating the bread roll.
Oh, okay. So while I'm holding it, or has it flown off of it?
Yeah. While you're holding it, it's eating the bread roll. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to make some kind of. I tell you what, can I use Eye for Detail, which allows me to make an investigation check to uncover or decipher clues, and I'd like to, based on this bat, try and work out the direction that Strahd may have gone in.
Nice. If you ask it if it knows where Strahd is, and it looks down and to the left, it's lying.
Yeah. It's like the tuna fish in Finding Nemo, right? They'll all point the same way if you ask the right thing.
So you're trying to communicate with this bat.
Yeah, well, either that or once it's got a piece of bread roll and I let it go, if it will fly towards Strahd. That's probably more realistic.
Okay. So you've got some sort of ability to help with this.
This would be Eye for Detail if you will allow me to use it, which allows me to uncover or decipher clues.
Okay. And it just happened?
I mean, I make an investigation check.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, investigation. 22.
Oh my god, Matt.
Tell us your
Oh,
secrets, little
amazing,
bat.
Matt. Tell us your secrets, bat.
Just give it a little stroke and it
Okay.
echolocates.
So the bat is eating. Oh yeah. The bat is just munching on the bread roll, like, and it looks into your eyes, and for like seemingly a few seconds, it feels like you have established a connection of empathy with this bat.
Yeah.
You understand its hopes, its fears, its life living in the castle. And then it breaks eye contact and just like flops off with the bread roll in its claws. And as you watch where it flies, you see sat on one of the benches in the altars seems to be a cloaked figure
But who is this cloaked figure and what does their presence mean for our adventurers? Find out next week in the concluding part of Curse of Strahd.